Welcome everybody to Walking Between Shadows. We're your host. I'm Ben.
I'm Taryn.
And Taryn, this week we're going back to the beautiful 13th Judicial District of Tennessee to talk about yet another lost, forgotten, or misguided case.
Yeah, I feel very neglected case.
Yeah. So before we get started, I want to say to everyone out there that has helped us with this that we appreciate, your hard work and dedication and your passion for your loved ones. And it just shows that we're all in this together, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
And we're going to stick with you as long as we can and do everything that we can to help all of them out.
That's right. And hopefully we won't get threatened through this by anybody.
Well, I mean, if they do, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk this week about Emilee Christopher.
Yes.
Now, Emilee was found inside the 13th Judicial District. So,
right.
And I got to admit, I didn't do a lot of follow up with this. I had some other things going on this week. And you've done most of this, 99% of it on your own, and just brief me a little bit about it. So I'll be your sounding board through this, Taryn, if you want to just tell the story of Emilee Christopher.
Okay.
Right on.
In the early morning hours of March 31st, 2020, 19-year-old Emilee Ann Christopher was found deceased in her vehicle in a grocery store parking lot in Livingston, Tennessee. Now, Emilee was not from Tennessee. She was from Port Huron, Michigan. So she had traveled over 1,000 miles to get to this parking lot.
Yeah.
Right. Local police were called to the scene by the passenger that was in the vehicle. And when they got there, she was not breathing. She was deceased. So that right there's the story. This is what happened. And I started talking to Emilee's mom. So I got the autopsy and toxicology report back from Emilee's mother, Chrissy. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about why maybe Emilee was down there, and maybe if she went down there with anybody, if she rode from Michigan down to Tennessee with a passenger in the vehicle, or did she meet somebody in Tennessee? And how did she die? What was the results of her autopsy? Because for a long period of time, that was not put out there. This case was not covered very much on media because of COVID.
Right.
So it was very underplayed. Emilee's 19 years old. She seems pretty healthy. She was very active on social media, and really wasn't known to be an addict. But she goes down to Tennessee with two passengers, a male and a female. And I don't want to say their names because I don't want them, to compromise the integrity of this case if it is being investigated at this time. And the phone call was made around like 7:30 in the morning. And I believe that Emilee had been gone for over 2 hours, possibly 4 hours before this passenger that's sitting in this vehicle with her calls. And, what's going on. So I asked Emilee's mother, a little bit more about that. And she explained to me that there's a little bit deeper hole that started up in Michigan with Emilee wasn't doing just too great. She had been running methamphetamine for some people, and one of the passengers that was with her was running heroin. And I don't know if there was some kind of connection in Tennessee, but she told her mother that she was going down to Tennessee to spend some time at a friend's mom's cabin down there. So she lied to her mother about that. That's not where she ended up. When first responders and police got there and started talking to the passenger in the vehicle, they ended up taking him in for questioning. But he explained to the officers that Emilee had drank meth, had drank something like a clear drink with meth in it. And so that was, that led me to the toxicology, and the autopsy.
Yeah.
And it looks like she looked very healthy. You and I both went over this autopsy report. And she looked very, very healthy. I mean, as far as her weight and what was said about her she looked well nourished. Her organs looked well.
Yeah, everything about her seemed normal according to the autopsy.
Right. But we got to the toxicology
Mm-hmm.
and we started reading the toxicology, and it reminded me, when we covered Courtney Cash's case
Mm-hmm.
and we compared these toxicology reports. And let's talk about what you told me.
Yeah. So back when we talked about Courtney Cash, my experience is as a chemist, just looking at the quantities that the toxicology report was reporting back in methamphetamines and amphetamines and deducing from that how much volume was there, it didn't make a lot of sense. It just seemed like that dosage was awfully low.
Right.
Like you might not even feel much from it. But in fact, studying about it and looking deeper into it's the solution of the result
Mm-hmm.
that's in the bloodstream, which is extremely elevated according to the results. And back at Courtney's case, we determined that since saying what we said, we are now correcting that to say that she was 14 times the lethal dose of methamphetamine in her system.
Which would have equaled to her getting over an 8 ball. Let's just use it in layman's terms or street terms. That would have
Well,
been for Courtney over an 8 ball.
right. By the volume, she would have had to ingest 4 grams at once, immediately.
Because hers equaled 7,600 nanograms per ml, right?
That's right. That's right. And
And,
2,400 nanograms of amphetamine.
and so Emilee,
Mm-hmm.
in her autopsy and toxicology report, her autopsy determined that she died from methamphetamine toxicity.
Yep.
So her nanograms on her toxicology report of methamphetamine and amphetamine were what?
6,100 nanograms per milliliter of methamphetamines and 260 of amphetamines. So she was roughly 10 times the lethal dose for her body makeup, right?
Right.
So again, this is another case where she had to ingest a large amount of methamphetamines very quickly. And by you saying that she drank something, it almost feels like, because by volume it came back that she would have had uh, roughly 3.5 grams, which is an 8 ball,
Right.
that she would have had to ingest immediately all at once. And with that in mind, so she was 6,100 on methamphetamines. If she was just the normal user of methamphetamines, she would have been somewhere in the 20 to 80 range.
Nanograms?
20 to 80.
Not 6,100.
Not 6,100.
So here's my thing. If she was running methamphetamine, if she was doing methamphetamine, which a TBI agent did tell Chrissy, Emilee's mom, that she was not a drug addict. Looking at her autopsy report, she was not a drug addict.
No, she didn't have any signs physiologically of the damage that occurs to organs and tissues over a long time of use.
And you were explaining to me something about the amphetamine levels to the methamphetamine levels, because it goes hand in hand, right?
Well, somewhat. I mean, so amphetamines are usually a result of metabolizing methamphetamines, and there's two different types of amphetamines that are reported on this toxicology report. But essentially, her body took so much methamphetamine in that she died before her body could metabolize the amphetamines. Okay. Now, this is a stark difference between her and Courtney Cash, the same. So, Courtney ingests a huge amount, but she was showing signs of having metabolized amphetamines for a longer period of time. Therefore, that number was elevated.
Right.
Right. So, we're talking about a matter of hours to a day or something like that of
Right.
how much was ingested over a period of time. And, like Courtney's number was 2,400 on the amphetamines.
Right.
And Emilee's was 260.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Still a lethal dose, but her body had not
Been
able
subjected.
to. Yeah, it's almost like slowly trickling in and then hitting it all at once. That's Courtney.
Right.
and someone who either is not a user or is just a once in a while recreational user and then getting hit all at once, that's Emilee. Okay.
Right.
And so the toxicology explains perfectly well, not only how they passed away, and in this case, how Emilee was subjected to a very high dose very quickly.
So it's like, now, since then, since this has happened, this has been 4 years, okay? Since this has happened, the rumors have gone crazy up in Michigan where Emilee's friends came from.
At Port Huron.
Port Huron.
Okay,
And,
so to put that in context, Port Huron is a border city with Canada.
okay.
Okay, so it's in the thumb of Michigan, just north of Detroit, and the border of the United States and Canada actually split Port Huron in two.
Okay. Okay.
So I would be willing, again, conspiracy theorists unite. I would be willing to bet that if materials were getting moved up there where she was from, that they may even have trickled into Canada.
Right.
Because this is a border town. I don't mean they're just a few miles from the border. I mean the border splits Port Huron in two.
Okay. Well, according to TBI, Emilee was trying to get away from these people. She had been around these people that were with her in the car for about 9 weeks. And I don't know if she was running,
Wait a minute. Were these people from Canada with her? Or not Canada, but Port Huron, Michigan?
Yes.
So
2 for sure, a female and a male.
Okay.
Yes, 2 for sure. They did ride with her from
Port Huron
to Tennessee.
Okay.
But according to TBI, Emilee had been trying to get away from these people for the last 5 weeks. And according to Emilee's mother, these people were trying to get rid of her. And I don't know why, but according to Chrissy, there was something sinister going on, planned before they ever even left to go to Tennessee.
No. Okay.
But it just so happened that this was in the 13th Judicial District, which, damn.
Yeah.
But it goes back, we're looking at these autopsy and toxicology reports, and it's like, bam, it hit me with Courtney. We got that wrong. Because we said that with Courtney, he probably just hit her with a dirty needle. I mean, there's no way that she had anything in her system, but she did.
Yeah.
I mean, a lethal, way lethal dose. I mean, 4 grams.
It calculated to just over 14 times the lethal dose for her body type.
For Courtney Cash.
Yep.
And for Emilee, it was, 3 times or 10 times?
10 times.
10 times. And Emilee was about 120 pounds. She wasn't a big girl. She was little, but Courtney wasn't big either.
Neither one of them were big, but yeah. Again, going through, Emilee's report, there was not tissue damage and stuff to outlying organ systems or any part of her body that would have shown that she was a long-term user.
Right. There was THC in her system, but not much.
Man, she just smoked a little bud. That's all right.
Yeah, and there was gabapentin in her system. And I don't think it was a lethal dose either.
No.
Of the gabapentin. I think that was, what was recommended for a dose.
Yeah, everything was within limits except for amphetamines and methamphetamines.
Right. And those, it's still, yeah. So, I mean, with Courtney Cash, they determined that she died from stab wounds and bleeding out. But if she would have gotten hit with a lethal dose of methamphetamine, it would have pushed that out. I mean, any of those wounds that were open, what would happen?
Yeah, she would have bled out faster.
Her heart would have been just pumping fast. Right. So Dunaway in this, what has he done? Okay. Chrissy says that she has spoke to a TBI agent out of Chattanooga about the case. And he let her know that as soon as she left Dunaway's office, he put the case away and hasn't done anything since April 29th of 2022. Nothing. The passenger that was in the car was taken in for questioning, but Dunaway said, I don't want to leave a man in jail that's been in the car with somebody deceased for 4 hours until I get back phone records and I can put him away for murder. But nothing else has been done. Don't know who supplied this meth, but according to Chrissy, the rumors that are going around in Port Huron, Michigan, is that this passenger has made some confessions, you know, those late night confessions when they're messed up, and has claimed that he did do this, that he put a lethal amount of methamphetamine in her drink when Emilee went into the store. So she goes into the store, she's not watching, and he drops down 4 grams or 3.5 grams of methamphetamine in her drink. She comes back and she guzzles it. But according to Chrissy, Emilee's, she said, I saw her and her mouth was very dirty. It looked like somebody was forcing something down her mouth. Inside of her mouth was dirty. Her fingernails were dirty. She was dirty. She said that was not ever something that she would have done to herself.
I wonder if she, attempted to or did actually throw up.
Could have possibly.
As a result, But again, it wouldn't take but just a few minutes after ingestion that it started hitting her system. So
it's a very sad case, and I hope something's done about it. I mean, according to Chrissy, she has asked Dunaway, and he says he doesn't have enough evidence to do anything right now. Nothing, not enough evidence to push forward with this. And it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years.
So she's heard these rumors in Port Huron. I'm assuming she still lives in that area.
Yes, she does.
Okay. So I'm assuming she's hearing these rumors in Port Huron. And it makes me wonder, is there a way that, again, we are talking about other cases along the way where long ago suspicious people have been interviewed?
Yes.
As law enforcement has supported them to do.
Right.
And it's changing the case potentially. Right. We don't know yet, but that's my question. Like, if the district attorney up there, Bryant Dunaway, if he needs evidence, then what's he doing to get evidence? What's he doing to support, this girl's mom who may help with that?
Right. And now the passenger has changed, according to TBI, he changed his story 7 times. 7 times. And that now he's in jail, or until like 2027. He's gone for a minute for other drug charges. So he's up there, doing his time for other charges. Drug-related
sounds like
charges.
a good time you'd be in there interviewing him or talking to him or whatever,
Yeah.
Right now, this kind of looks like low-hanging fruit for the prosecutor to be able to figure out something here.
If they were moving dope back and forth, I mean, they're in the active felony at that time.
Yeah.
When she did pass away.
Yeah.
And if they had it delivered, wouldn't you be able to tell from phone records that who brought that,
Yeah. And again, that's why I called the question, like, was any of that done? And the TBI says that he changed his story 7 times.
Right.
So that means the TBI interviewed him.
Right.
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 So how many cases, not just from the 13th District, but how many cases that we have looked at over the years of these people that are interviewed by investigative bodies that, you can't trust because they keep changing their story. And then, you wait a few years to a couple of decades and all of a sudden the truth comes out.
Oh, yeah.
I can name them. Somebody along the way stays after it.
That's right.
We got a case right now we're watching that's 20 years old plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these people refuse to give up. The prosecutors even refuse to give up. The investigative bodies even refuse to give up.
They messed up at first.
Of course, as most of these cases go. But at least they're giving those people the opportunity to bring this evidence to them.
That's right. That's right.
And investigating it after the fact.
That is right.
That's what hurts me or disgusts me about what's going on up there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's like, let's put that file away and not even think about it again. Let's just keep moving forward.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Just move forward. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like I don't want to touch anything that's going to make me have to do investigations or prosecution.
Mm-hmm. See, in my mind, those people that either get appointed or elected into a position have, an inherent responsibility to the entire constituency to investigate and do what's best here until there's absolute reason for closure.
Chrissy did ask for a FOIA
Mm-hmm.
to Dunaway and the investigative bodies. So that was, that was not even, I don't even think he even responded to that. So, I mean,
well, according to the rule, he has to respond. Now, that response can be, no, I'm not telling you anything.
right.
Or it can be, yeah, you can have the records, but you're going to pay for the copies. You're going to pay the administrative fees for copying the files and any freight it takes for me to ship it or mail it to you. They're allowed to collect that.
And where's the investigation? I mean, that's what bothers me with some of these cases. I mean, it's like if it's not right there in their hands, right in their face, they can't even make some phone calls. They can't even check phone records. They can't even check text messages. That's bull crap. That to me is lazy.
Yeah.
Very lazy. And if you're saving all this money because you're not prosecuting anybody, where's it going?
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still a lot of questions for this family, and that's devastating to know that it's in the hands of this district attorney in this jurisdiction. Because I mean, even all the way up to law enforcement, it seems to be very lax or sneaky. We're hiding something.
Yeah, I mean, there's accusations that people have been asked to commit crimes in the pursuit of finding out what's going on with these cases. There's accusations of just
Being hushed.
zero work.
Being hushed.
Yeah.
I mean, Emilee's mother even said that TBI told her that Dunaway doesn't want her even looking at anything that has to do with Emilee. And this is her daughter.
Oh, you can bet if something happened to one of ours, I'd burn the woods down.
And we say that, but it's almost like it's so scary because them having that kind of power to make or break whether justice is served. And people can say, oh, well, if they don't serve it here, they'll serve it when they die. I don't know that I believe that.
Well, that's just a cheesy excuse to not actually do anything.
Right. It just doesn't, no, I think here. And it just seems like in this jurisdiction, it just seems like they're creating criminals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can say that, we're not going to drop it, but we're not on the front lines. We don't know everything there is to know. And we rely on people to give us their insights to this.
Yes, please. I want to hear whatever y'all have to say in the comments. We've had some really good feedback and in the past several cases that we've done out of the 13th District.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you've heard. A couple weeks back when we covered Remembering the 13th at Justice Delayed, Justice Denied, we covered a man by the name of Brent Flatt, 23 years old. He was lured into a home in Cookeville, Tennessee, by 4 people, and these 4 people robbed him and shot him.
Wait. We got to make sure everybody knows what we're talking about. It's Cookeville.
Yeah, Cookeville.
Cookeville.
Right.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, so December 20th of 2020, Brent Flatt is lured into this home in Cookeville, Tennessee, and he is robbed and shot. And we covered a couple weeks back what happened to the 2 men that lured him in, Isaac Sides and Caleb Venable. They both pled out to 35 years, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But here it gets even more ridiculous. So the 2 women that were involved were Kayla Cohen, who was 20 years old. She took a plea deal as well and got 20 years. And Haley Watkins. Haley Watkins is 20 years old, and she took a plea deal for 25 years in February of 2022. Now, Brent's mother went to the hearing when Haley Watkins and Kayla Cohen were sentenced or took their plea. And Haley Watkins is breaking down. in the courtroom when they're giving her this plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy said, I really thought she was remorseful. I really thought she felt bad.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about why she was crying, because that links us to the next case. What had happened was her sister, who was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay Bounds, had been killed the night before by her boyfriend or fiance, Christian Luna. So that takes us to the next case that's supposedly going to start this week, this Tuesday, August the 20th.
Yeah, and it's being heard at Cookville, right?
I'm sitting back and waiting because
Nobody knows yet.
we don't know. I mean, I haven't heard a whole lot about it. Lindsay was 12 weeks pregnant, living in an apartment with her fiance, Christian Luna. They hadn't been together that long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from what her family members say, this went fast. Everything went fast. They got engaged and she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Lindsay was seen at her apartment with Christian Luna early that morning by her sister, one of her other sisters.
Gotcha.
And later on that afternoon, she was found in her apartment, shot to death. Christian Luna went to Louisiana to flee, and they got him back here. And now the trial is supposed to begin on August the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just sitting back to see if there will be a trial in this district.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably negotiate some sort of plea deal.
Right. And I've asked people, I've asked a lot of these mothers that I've been talking to through this, through doing all this research, and nobody's heard about this case. Not many.
Hmm.
I believe that Courtney Cash's mom did say something to me about this case a while back, but I'm not 100% sure. So, I mean, there's the link that shows what a small place. I mean, Brent Flatt in 2020, who was murdered terribly. I mean, ruthlessly murdered.
Mm-hmm.
First degree, I believe every single one of them should at least gotten life in prison, if not the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. And I just wanted to say about his mother, she is such a sweetheart. And I've been talking to her, and she let me know that she can see Brent's headstone. It is the tallest headstone in the cemetery from her house. She wanted to make sure she could see her son from her home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful memorial to him.
It is. It is. So those are some of the cases that I wanted to go over, and some things that we found out too from some cases that we've already covered.
Yep.
Like with Aaron Shankey. Got a lot of feedback from that, and I appreciate that. His mom, Lisa, helped out so much with that episode and letting us know the information. We're going to put some pictures up of Aaron so y'all can see the damage. We talked about last week about the damage that was done by 2-week-old puppies on Aaron's face.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, the feedback I got back was, I can't really tell. I wish the pictures would have been there so we could just at least see the damage to his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So just letting y'all know that these pictures can be, they're going to be kind of harsh.
Yeah.
But we're going to put those up and y'all can see. So that's what we've heard. And we also heard from Lisa that one of the witnesses that was involved in cleaning up after Aaron did confess. And she claimed that she was being haunted by Aaron. And she told a friend of Aaron's, she let it all out. This friend goes to law enforcement and lets them know that she has confessed and told him everything. And they say, oh, she's not credible. And I'm not going to listen to that.
Just brush it off.
Right. Right. So, I mean, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
According to Lisa, there was, I believe, 7 people that did this to Aaron, 4 people that watched, or 2 people that watched, and 4 people that walked out the door before this happened, knew what was going on, but didn't want to watch. So they just left and didn't call law enforcement.
Nice.
Right. So, yeah, that's what I heard just this past week when I was, after we put out that video on Aaron. Also, I wanted to bring up Caitlin Ledbetter. And I know I've stayed on her for a minute, but look, we have covered this now and talked about this, at least covered it twice in detail, and talked about it at least 3 episodes.
Yeah, and Caitlin's another one of those cases that just seems like it's filed away. No big deal.
Completely neglected.
Mm-hmm.
And some things I found out about Caitlin. And I've been watching my social media. I know who looks at my page, and I'm telling you, I know who looks at the videos. And I see some of the players in this game with Caitlin that are looking straight at me, at my page and at my social media, and they're not saying anything at all. So I wanted to make some clarifications about Caitlin and her going missing. Caitlin was in Indiana for about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks before she goes missing.
Yeah.
Dustin Loftus, her boyfriend, goes up to Indiana to pick her up. Now, the reason why she was there, and we'll put a picture up, is that Caitlin was beat up by Dustin. Very bad. And you'll see in the picture how bad.
Yeah.
And he gave her a concussion. She goes up and stays with her family and her siblings where she feels safe in Indiana, and he talks her into coming home. So Dustin supposedly goes up to Indiana, picks her up, and she's only home 2 days from the time she left Indiana until she got home from Tennessee. And she's gone, and she's missing 2 days. So she went from being beat the hell up to being picked up by the same person that beat her up.
Supposedly.
Right. And taken back to the home where her father, who was horrible to her, allegedly.
I mean, apparently he was very physically abusive to her too.
Physical and sexually abusive to her.
Yeah.
According to family members, that she was drugged by her father at times and assaulted by her father. But of course, no matter how much I put this up and how much I see her dad looking at my stuff, he has not said a damn word, and neither has Dustin. So my question is to Caitlin's sisters or her aunts or her friends. Did anyone hear from Caitlin from the time she left Indiana until she got home in Tennessee?
Right.
Those 2 days. I just want to know that. I want to know for sure that somebody heard her voice in those 2 days, because she's leaving. She left because of two abusive men in her life that should have been protecting her.
Makes you wonder.
To come back, to go to safety, to come back to that again. I just doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, in the extended story about Caitlin Ledbetter's father's girlfriend at the time dying in a fire, there's been people that said she was chained in the basement.
Yeah, I heard that I heard this is secondhand hearing that someone that worked at the fire department did claim that Crystal Tyson was chained to a wall in the basement when the house caught on fire.
Yeah.
And when Scotty Ledbetter got out of this house fire, if he was ever in it, he walked to a neighbor's house and called for help. And when he was walking out of the neighbor's house, he said if the bitch played with fire and she just got burned. Talking about Crystal Tyson.
See, why all of that is not at least being taken into account for?
I mean,
blows my mind.
Right. Crystal Tyson. There's another one.
There's always going to be people that talk shit or say, they just outright lie about it. But when it's this broad spread among the closest people to Caitlin, it's just being ignored.
Right. And, according to people in her family and friends, this phone that she had is gone. The police lost her phone and all her text messages.
Yeah, so there was something back when we originally covered that case where you said that an officer was let go as a result of the evidence in this case.
Right. But I mean, and I'm not sure because everything in that place, I'm not sure about when it comes from law enforcement's mouth.
Right.
But yeah, that he was let go. I don't know if he was fired or if he was just let go off the case. I don't know. I don't know. It's all too suspicious to me. And look, when I say this, I mean this every single time. It's suspicious to me anytime someone doesn't talk to me.
Right.
Your silence says a lot to me, I feel like, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but come to me. Explain your side to me.
But you know something, again, I go back to the broad picture here. We've watched and monitored cases where apparently guilty parties have just kept quiet for years, you know. And I think we said it during the Karen Swift trial that silence screams guilt in a lot of cases. And then looking at other cases from wherever, it's usually that really silent party that's close to, the victims that seems to be somewhat guilty in some way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's
Very.
frustrating when Caitlin's missing. Caitlin, it's not that, that anybody knows where she's at. Well, not anybody that we know of knows where she's at.
Right.
So what does it hurt for you to come forth and just tell the truth?
Right.
Where is she? Just help find her. Just help. And I'm going to say this about Dustin Loftus. I have seen him post a lot of stuff about Caitlin, looking for her. And I have seen him say he's, overcome addiction and things like that. But I've not seen anything about Scotty Ledbetter. I've not been able to squeeze anything out of him. And according to law enforcement, nobody's getting anything out of him.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we have today out of the 13th District.
Yeah, we keep plugging away, and I want to say, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, the notifications bell, but most importantly, share these videos. And on any platform you find us, so we go through a distribution host that puts us on Apple and Spotify, and I think we're on 12 or 14 different, Google Podcasts. So if you find us on any of those platforms, please don't hesitate to share this, because it's all about keeping the information out there.
Yes, please.
And don't think of it as helping us, just me and Taryn, but helping all these people, because that's what the goal is here. The goal is to keep this information relevant and to keep it talked about so that, when you do come across that one person who may have heard or seen or done something that could say something. That's why it's important to share these videos. So like and subscribe them, and please don't forget to share. Yes. And we appreciate everybody. We love what we do, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
See y'all later.
Take care.